Hazard, danger or peril, especially a factor contributing to a peril. Now, when I was reading that word hazard, yeah, I remember the discussion I had with Judge Porter. I told Judge Porter, yes, at my own peril, because it does have another meaning. Yes. And I'm sure Judge Porter remembers when I was being arraigned. Yes. Or quite possibly one of the court hearings. Yes. Is I told the judge, yes, that I did not give personal service or service by publication. Yes. And the judge said, well, I don't know if I have jurisdiction to remove it. And my thought was, well, if you don't have jurisdiction to remove it, you don't have jurisdiction to enforce it. Yes. Now, maybe Judge Porter would like to understand why the printed name, yes, of the actual petitioner has to be the same as the printed name of the individual that filled this out. Yes. Because my thought was, yes, that you do have jurisdiction to enforce any law of the United States of America. Now, Judge Porter, at your own peril, yes, is there some reason right now that you don't see the fraud of using forgeries? Oh, you don't see the fraud of not having a printed name? Yes, the printed name that looks almost exactly like this printed name? Yes, because the truth of the matter is, not anyone can just fill out one of these forms, Judge Porter. Now, maybe Judge Porter needs to consider his own peril, okay? Because I'm going to put every judge in this county in prison. Yes. And it looks to me that there will be more than 250 victims. And it's going to end up being more than a few $1 billion. Now, you'll spend the rest of your fucking life right now. Judge Porter, at your own peril. Do you not understand how you can never allow for the violating of the laws of the United States? And when I told you I was not given personal service, yes, and it wasn't put in publication, I thought it would never be sent in the mail, right? Because I'm homeless. Now, why don't you give me all the driver's licenses that have hazardous, risky, or dangerous? See, hazardous negligence. Oh, hazardous substance, a toxic pollutant, an eminently dangerous chemical or mixture. Because when I think of these toxic substances that you put in the food supply, yes, I'd say they're hazardous to human consumption. Have you been eating a little snake? Seemed to me that somebody wanted to snake me. I'm going to want all of the actual driver's licenses and the physical vehicles of every person that can legally, yes, transport any sort of hazardous waste. I want it for the last 40 years. Yes, I want their change of address forms, their GPS locations. Yes, their printed name on any change of address. Yes, he does. And then I want to talk to you about peril. This county's been manufacturing some products that are very hazardous to human consumption. And when I go to investigating because I have my litigation cost expenses, yeah, I peril. Oh my gosh, to peril. Yes. See, I should be able to explain to a judge, well, judge, I never got any personal service. And you sat there saying, well, I don't think I can remove it. Well, how the fuck can you enforce it? Um, remove the fraud. Judge, remove it. Peril. Exposure. Ouch. Uh-huh. To the risk of injury, damage, or loss. A danger or problem in a particular activity or situation. The perils of litigation. See, this peril of litigation where you said I was in Swim, Washington when I wasn't. Yes. The peril of the litigation of not acknowledging that I didn't get any due process. Right. That the petitioner didn't sign it and she didn't put a printed name on it. Right now. That you issued it for 10 years. Yeah. You know, there's what's known as biohazard. Yes. It's a certain convention that the United States has signed, and I talked to you about those. Yes. See, I should be able to eat any food product in this nation without it having some sort of effect on myself. Yes. And it should just be for nutritional purposes. Ouch. But somebody decided to snake all of Squim, Washington, so you could be on them. This biological, yes, biological conventions of the United States biological warfare, yes. Seemed to me that things got a little dark last night when I was in the study room. Why don't you tell me where you're manufacturing all your mutating foods? Isn't that right, Joseph Dunford? Yes, General retired, aren't you right now? Why don't you tell me what you're feeding the FBI? I want to know what the National Park Service is eating. I want to know all the biological warfare of the United States.